So now, one of the things you talk about in your lecture is, in just a few minutes ago, is the importance of imagination. So I want to know, first of all, kind of what drew you to Ferguson, but then also once you got there and you left, like what about being there challenged your imagination?
Anger drew me to Ferguson. I was angry. I was very angry. I had been learning about black people being killed by police for a while. I got politicized my first year of seminary. And so I knew I was black, but in becoming politicized, I realized that this was an epidemic. What was happening, not just to black men, to black women, to black transgender people. And so I think it was anger that really got to me. And I really didn't know what to do with my body. I remember applying to PhD programs at the time and not being able to sit still long enough just to get my personal statement done because CNN was on and there was a non-indictment after non-indictment after non-indictment. And so that's what drove me to Ferguson, but that's not what kept me in Ferguson. As I said earlier, it was the joy, it was the community, and it was this imagination that a lot of us as young black people were cultivating. And so on my bus ride back from Ferguson to New York, I was frustrated because I felt like there weren't many church spaces where I could take this anger, where I can express it, where I can articulate it. And I began to think about James Cone, rest in peace, as he passed away this week, his book, The Cross and the Lynching Tree. And then began to think about growing up in the church. I went to all of these, what we call 7 last word services. And for those who don't know, that's a place where preachers come together and preach the last words of Jesus according to Scripture. And so thinking about Cone's book, thinking about Mike Brown's body being left on the ground for 4.5 hours for his community and his mama to see, like a spectacle, like a lynching. I got this idea to remix the traditional 7 last word service, and instead of preaching the last words of Jesus according to Scripture, to actually preach the last words of black people killed by police. And the theology there is to connect the crucifixion of Jesus by the Roman Empire to the execution of black people by the American Empire, i.e. the police here in the United States. And so that's what we did. The first service, I preached the last words of Jordan Davis, 17 years old, living in Jacksonville, Florida. He went to the local gas station to get some cigarettes and gum with his friends. And they were all sitting in the car listening to music, actually listening to hip-hop music. And a 47-year-old man by the name of Michael Dunn asked them to turn their music, told them to turn their music down. And after they didn't, he reached into his glove compartment and proceeded to shoot Jordan to death. And so we preached those last words. And Renisha McBride, I want to go home, were her last words. She was involved in a car accident and was looking for help after her car accident. And so we really tried to treat the last words of these black people as sacred texts and to think about what does it mean if we can see this as a refusal to let death have the last word. Yes, white supremacy is real. Yes, oppression is real, especially in black communities. But we also resist in the face of that, and we continue to talk back. We continue to remember. We continue to storytell.